Hey, Wellmug World Entertainment, and we're taking a look at Genesis from Starfleet Academy, because it turns out she's exactly what she says on the tin, a girl boss. She's the best at everything. She's basically Star Trek's Mary Sue, and we truly did learn that with this last episode, and it's just like, okay, you were hinting at it, but now you've fully shown it. And again, the way they set up Starfleet and how it operates stuff, they get completely wrong. So, who is Genesis? Well, Genesis is the daughter of a Dasher Starfleet admiral, and she, of course, is now enrolled in Starfleet. Exactly who that admiral is, we don't know. They aren't really showing us or telling us much, except that she lives in his shadow. So, Genesis grew up on a starship. She was previously the captain of Interbase Youth League for 5 years, top of her class, and student ambassador to Model Fed Council. Genesis had never been on a planet before entering Starfleet Academy on Earth. When Genesis applied to Starfleet Academy, her references stated that she was motivated out of fear of not being good enough and didn't trust she belongs where she is. In order to be admitted, she altered those reference documents. So we did learn that, except she didn't exactly alter the documents right away. She was trying to alter the documents. Why? Because she was being fast-tracked to a captain's course. This is the part, by the way, where they completely screw up how the Academy and the Federation actually work, because you can't leave the Academy to become immediately a captain. Doesn't work like that. You go through your academy, you do your courses, then you're probably an ensign to start out with. You're not coming out of Starfleet Academy as a lieutenant or lieutenant commander or a first officer, and you sure as hell ain't coming out as a captain. So they got that wrong. But yeah, she's motivated by the fear of, letting down her father and all this type of stuff, and she wanted to alter that so you wouldn't see it when she's getting put forward for this captain's course. Except, as we've spoken about, the problem is all that stuff was in her references to join the Academy, and she still got accepted into the Academy. The one thing she did change, if I remember correctly, was a minor infraction. I can't remember whether they told us what that infraction was. But as you can see, girl boss immediately. Number one, the biggest part is obviously she's a Nepo baby. But you have then that she was previously the captain of a youth league for 5 years. She was the top of her class, and she was the student ambassador. And now she's here at the academy where she's acing everything. And you realize why she was actually being forwarded to this captain's course. Why Captain Ake was going, you did such a brilliant job. You went above and beyond all expectations at the abandoned ship. You showed true spirit, blah, blah, blah. Do you know what it was? Oh, she piloted a probe incredibly slowly. That was it. That is what drove this idea that, hey, she's captain material. She literally went, hey, if we launch a probe and have it travel slower than impulse speed, by the way, why it would go as fast as impulse speed makes no sense, seeing as that is half of light speed. I think they were meant to say, which just shows you they don't understand it, thrusters. You should have been going at thrusters, not impulse. Either way, that was her idea. Then they seem to have forgot that in the episode, because it didn't come back up until near the end of the episode. But that is what they want to fast track her over to be a captain for, because she was like, hey, we should use a probe and move it really slowly. It's like, genius. Captain Picard and Kirk, eat your hearts out. This is captain material here. And we see how she's driven, but we also see how she can be easily manipulated. So, of course, in the second or third episode, I think it was the third episode actually, when they were doing their training courses, which was really the first and only real time we've seen them do anything, where they were playing basically the game of tag. And it came down to her and Durham. And whoever wins was going to be the captain of the teams. And of course, she is going at it. She is hitting every target at the same time as him. So the two of them are neck and neck. There's no way out of it. Who is going to come down and win this thing? And Durham actually somehow won it because he brought up her family, which instantly broke her concentration. That right there should be moments of, well, clearly you're not captain material if you're so easily manipulated like that. But she still ended up becoming the captain because Durham then later proved that he wasn't captain material, that he kept making all the wrong decisions until Genesis stepped up and took over and went, no, this is what we should do. And it was just like, okay. And then she somehow was given the captaincy of the team, even though Durham may have been failing at what he was doing, but he was still the captain. He has still won the competition to become the captain, and yet the captain's jacket was hers by the end, because it was a small size. And this is the thing to keep in mind with a character like Genesis, is she is tiny. So she is doing all the same feats that everyone else is doing, which would make realistically no sense, being that she is so small. But we know literally nothing other than she's a girl boss. It's like, where is this character from? Who exactly is she? Who is this father that she's so revered of and stuff like that? Why have we not seen this guy? Do we ever meet him? We don't know. Absolutely don't know. Probably not in this season, because she's already done an interview. The girl who plays her, Bella Shepherd, I believe her name is, she has actually done an interview and has broken down like this season and what to expect from her next season and stuff like that. And she flat out says like she is the only one of her species we see in season 1. So we're clearly never going to meet the father in this season. But more information about him would be helpful to have everybody constantly bring up, oh, she's the daughter of this Starfleet admiral and blah blah blah. It's like, okay, but who is this admiral? What did he do? What's his accomplishments? You know, what's he known for? Other than having the little princess girl boss over here. That's all we seem to know. By the way, I'm looking at a thing here about her, and it says species that share hybrid. Why is every species in this show a hybrid? We have a hybrid, a mix between a Klingon and a Jem'Hadar. Makes no fucking sense, but okay. We have the mix of Klingon and what's the species again? Starts with a T, which is Paul Galimini's species. Yes, he's meant to be half Klingon as well. What are they called? Tala something, I can't remember. The piggy people. I'm pretty sure there's more hybrids, and now it turns out Genesis is also a hybrid. It's like, this is ridiculous. Like, she is the top of her class. She achieves everything she sets her mind to, and yet she's easily manipulated. Hey, your dad really can overshadow you, huh? Boom, she's done. She loses it. She's out of control. And it's like, yeah, you're not exactly leader material. So how exactly was she all of these other things? How was she an ambassador to a Fed council? How was she the captain of an inter-base youth league? How was she the top of her class when she's so easily manipulated? Not to mention the fact that apparently she was never off a starship and on a planet. You realize what kind of issues that would cause? She should instantly practically be dead when she beams onto a planet because of all the different kind of diseases and stuff like that would be there. Like, just the natural stuff that your immune system would be used to. Like, stuff that every day is there. It doesn't really affect you, but every day it's there, so it should actually cripple you if you're dropped into there for the very first time. Gravity should have been a major issue for her. Yeah, you can say, well, there's the artificial gravity on the ship, so that would be very different to the real world gravity. There's so many little things like that you could have added in there, but clearly they just thought it was interesting that, oh, this is the first time she's ever been on the surface of a planet, which again makes no sense. Why was she never on her home planet? Where is her home planet? Why was she never there? Like, yeah, She was on a starship because her father was an admiral. Most admirals, by the way, don't go on starships. Yeah, some of them do, but the majority of them are figureheads. They don't actually work on the starships. They might take command of a starship for an operation, but other than that, they really don't be on starships, which is why Kirk hated becoming an admiral and told Picard, don't ever let them promote you because it takes you off the bridge of the ship. So why was she never on a planet? Who is her father? Why don't they tell us? Who's the mother? Why do we never find out who her mother is? Which is interesting because it's usually the other way around. We usually never hear about the fathers, but in her case, we're never hearing about the mother. Why? Who is this character? Why is she such a girl boss? How can she do everything that they're trying to fast track her to be a captain? Especially when, yeah, she had a minor infraction in her references. She also has she does things by fear, which, again, when you think of the Kelpians, that should be no biggie for her at all. But they forgot that themselves, so idiots. But it's the case of she's such a girl boss. She can do absolutely everything, but so easily manipulated. She clearly, and she's getting fast tracked because she figured out, hey, let's fly a probe really slowly. Yeah, she is Starfleet Academy's Mary Sue. The girl can do no wrong. And her best friend seems to be a retarded hologram. So that's Genesis. Everything we know about her so far. So God knows what else we're going to learn about this girl. But right now, she's the ultimate girl boss in this show, who was getting fast tracked to be a captain, which again makes no sense. It's not like you come out of these things as captain. But there you go. That's Genesis. So with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So do like and share and subscribe and all that good stuff. Cheers, and I shall catch you in the next one.